Okay, here we are, only 10 minutes late. Welcome, everyone. You thought I abandoned you, right? And I can't even get the... I'm using my old slow internet. Hold on. Change the lighting. So, sorry for being late. I was writing something, and I looked up at my computer, and it said it was 9:38. I thought it was like 8:45. You know, you lose touch with time when you're writing. So that's what happened. Is that a good excuse? I've had this experience before. When I'm writing, time like goes into another dimension. I had no idea. So I came in here a little bit earlier than normal to work on some other things. And time just flew away. So here we are, everyone. I think we won't have kirtan because we're already starting late. So, Hare Krishna. If you didn't see yesterday's class, it was a class in Russian and it was about emotions, then it got some good reviews. So I think you'll like it. You should watch it. And devotees were asking about emotional maturity and how we understand its relation to spreading of Krishna consciousness. And so we had a good discussion. And after the discussion, we were talking about suppressing emotions and how they don't go away by suppression, that they become purified by facing them. And when you face emotions, you get understanding how to deal with your problems. And so I came across this amazing lecture yesterday about something I'm interested in, which is the mind-body connection, especially in relation to emotional health. And this man has done lots and lots of research. He's widely respected in the field of mind-body connection. And he said suppressing emotions causes suppressed immune system. And then he described different emotional states which are clinically proven to have caused or are causing various diseases. Interesting, right? Stress causing disease, but also people not loving themselves or neglecting themselves, it caused certain diseases. Interesting, right? So it was kind of like the icing to that class. So now we left off this class last week with a discussion about self-confidence and humility. Okay, so Nadia put the link in there. I think you would like it if you missed it. Probably like it if you didn't miss it and listen to it again. So here we are. Just trying to recap a little bit from the last class. And I will pull up the document for this class while I'm recapping the last class. We were looking at the intense humility of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and trying to understand it, because it's, as we said in the class, it's really difficult to understand humility in general, but to speak of the humility of great devotees. So we got into a long discussion about humility, and then a question was asked about humility and low self-esteem, how they're the same, how they're different. And of course, the general answer is the difference between, how do you know the difference between something material and spiritual? Look at the result of doing it. And that's one most obvious way to understand. If this is actually genuinely spiritual, what will the result be? Well, I'll be happy. I'll be more absorbed in Krishna consciousness. It'll be experienced as this is bringing me closer to Krishna. And what if it's not Krishna conscious? It will be experienced as something opposite, like it's discouraging me, I'm not inspired, I'm not happy, etc. So if your humility is not inspiring you, not making you happy, etc., it's not humility. It's probably something else that looks like humility, but isn't. Could be lack of self-confidence, low self-esteem, extreme introversion, shyness, fear, whatever it is. And so the problem is that sometimes when the pure devotee speaks, it looks like that's what he had. It looks like he has problems here. He doesn't have any confidence. He's really overestimating how bad he is. No, and so we described it. No, he's experiencing prema, and because we have no experience of prema, it's hard to fathom what prema looks like, isn't it? It's like it can be really questionable. Like prema is something you don't see. So how do we understand what it is when you see these like intense manifestations of humility? So we try to understand that a little bit. And I don't think we can really understand it deeply until we become more Krishna conscious. And when that day comes when you start to lose your desire to be in the center, you start to lose your desire to have others recognize you, honor you, respect you. I mean, it's nice. We all want to be appreciated. We all want to be encouraged. But when that day comes when you start to feel a lessening of that need, like you're okay, if nobody says you're okay, you're still okay because you're okay with yourself, because you've learned to love yourself, and you've learned that if I can satisfy Krishna, that's all that matters, even if no one in the world is satisfied. If he's satisfied, if my guru is satisfied, if Prabhupada's satisfied, then I can be satisfied. When that lovely day comes, if it hasn't come yet, I'm praying it'll come soon, but when that lovely day comes, then when you see the manifestations of humility of the pure devotee, you can understand. You start to get a glimpse. So yeah, I start to understand why they're feeling lower than a worm in stool, which is very difficult to understand. But they honestly see themselves as I mean, if you in your advancement in Krishna consciousness feel a little bit of a lessening of the need to be honored, to be in the center, to be glorified, but more of a desire to respect and appreciate other devotees, then you can just imagine if that process continues, then at some point you start to see everyone better than you. Of course, that's inconceivable to us because we don't see everyone better than us. But as a point of information, as a devotee rises in humility, he starts seeing, as you rise in humility, you start appreciating more people, seeing more people as better. That's how it works. And when you reach prema, then inconceivably you see everyone as better. All right. Don't spend your whole life trying to figure that out. It has to be something that you will realize through experience. But at least it's there for us to look at and say, okay, this is what it looks like. So it's kind of the discussion we had on Wednesday of looking at that depth of humility and just being amazed by it, that a devotee could feel himself lower than a worm in stool. That means like he thinks pretty much all living entities are better than him. I'm so bad. I don't have love of Krishna, or I don't have the highest love of Krishna. Yeah, it's a product of intense love. And then what we concluded, I hope we concluded this. If we didn't conclude it, we'll conclude it now. What we have to conclude as devotees is that the humility, that the way we understand humility has to be something practical. How can I manifest humility? What does it look like for a devotee on my level? Well, it looks like more cooperation. It looks like I should be more appreciative of other devotees. It looks like being more realistic about who I am, but not being depressed about who I am, but just being realistic about it. It means remaining inspired, even in spite of my faults and my failures. Feeling Krishna's love, feeling Krishna's affection, showing that to other devotees, loving myself even though I don't love myself. Yeah. Love yourself even if you don't. It's okay. Love yourself because Krishna loves you. Love yourself because your guru loves you. And not artificially being humble. That doesn't help, because sometimes artificially being humble can just be imitation. It can just be acting. But we really want to do the acts of humility, which is to respect others, to cooperate better, to be more empathic, to be more compassionate, understanding. These are signs of humility. To not be, not to have personal agendas to get something from devotees like that. So, that's kind of what we discussed Wednesday, as I remember. And there may have been some questions that were left. I think, though, we answered all of them. We went right up to the last second of class, and we answered those questions. So that's a summary for those of you who have bad memories and those of you who weren't in class. They say you only remember 7% of what you hear if you don't write it down. So the verse that we have been reading, this is the third day. O Gopinath, since you can do anything, you have the power to deliver all sinners. Who is a greater sinner than I? So that on Monday, the first line, O Gopinath, you can do anything. You have the power to deliver all sinners. The whole class was about that. I'm sinful. Hey, look at me. I'm pretty bad, but you can deliver me, so maybe you will. It's what I want. I'm asking for it. I'm just stating the facts. You can do it. So, And then the next one, who is a greater sinner than I? And you show mercy to those who are sinful. And so we were talking about this, and we were talking about that if I think I'm the greatest sinner is artificial, because I really don't think I'm the greatest sinner. Do you really think you're the greatest sinner? If you do, and you're not on the level of bhava, probably it's time to go to a therapist. Yes, that was the point. Okay, so we can speak more about this, but I'm sure these ideas are going to come up again. And he's going to expand upon these ideas. So let's go to text 7. Gopinath, 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 Gopinath tumi kripa parabaro, jivera karana, ashiya papanche, lila koilo shubhishtara. We read that by accident, actually, last time. So I want to go through the word meanings. To me, you're, to, certainly, shakali paro, are able to do anything. No, that's not right. That's the last verse. Okay. To me, you are kripa parabhara, the ocean of mercy. Big. Kripa parabhara, I think it just means like big mercy. Big mercy das. The ocean of mercy. We use the word poetically. We use ocean because ocean is big. If you want to think of a lot of liquid in one place, it's an ocean. So you're an ocean of mercy. Jivera karane, for the sake of the fallen souls. Asisha, having come, prapanche, into this phenomenal world. Lila, your divine pastimes. Koile, shuvishtara, you expand. Okay. O Gopinath, you are the ocean of mercy. After entering this phenomenal world, you expand your divine pastimes for the sake of the fallen souls. Okay, so this is good, because sometimes we think, Krishna doesn't love me. You ever think like that? I don't even love myself, so I don't like myself. Like, why would he like me? Okay. That's a whole other issue. I don't like myself. We could get into maybe later or some other day. But when you think, well, Krishna doesn't love me, what's the proof? If he loved me, I'd be rich and famous by now and have 10 kids and live in a mansion. and all the devotees would love me also. Because that's not happening, that Krishna doesn't love me. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, wait a minute, everybody, check this out. He comes to this planet, like this place. It's kind of like not such a great place, right? Have you noticed that? It's not such a great place. Yeah, I've noticed it also. So he comes here from the spiritual world. Not only that, he brings his associates. They do their Leela. Why? So we can see it, or if we don't see it, we'll hear about it, so we'll see it through the Bhagavatam. Why does he do that? Because he wants to attract us out of here, back there, and that's one of the most potent ways to do it. He also speaks Bhagavad Gita. He also, as I said, brings his devotees so we can see what pure bhakti is all about, right? So, why does he do that? Because he wants to pull us out of here. Why does he want to pull us out of here? Because he hates us? Because he doesn't care about us? Because he doesn't give a hoot what we do? No. Because he loves us and he wants us to join his pastimes. That's why. So never, ever again in your life can you say, Krishna doesn't love me. Because all I would say is, if he doesn't love you, why did he come here? To try to get you? Why did he speak Bhagavad Gita? Why did he send all the acaryas? Why did Mahaprabhu come? Why did he send Prabhupada to the West? Why did Prabhupada write all these books? Why did Prabhupada send all his disciples around the world if he didn't love you? There's no answer. The only answer is, well, I guess you're right. He does love me. Otherwise, he kind of like would have just left me to rot away in the material world. So Krishna's, it's like you can't judge Krishna's love. You say, but why would he love me? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, maybe it doesn't make sense to you because you look at yourself and go, I'm not so lovable. I mean, like, why would someone love you if you turn your back on them for millions of lives? Yeah, it doesn't make sense to us. It doesn't make sense materially. But, like parents love children no matter what the children do. Rabindra Swarupa Prabhu once said, Krishna cannot not love you. It's not possible for him to not love you. It's just, it's like, you may think you're lovable or not. You may think he loves you or not. But from his perspective, it's not possible for him not to love you. Hold on one. It's not possible for him not to love you. So there's no need to waste your time and energy trying to figure out why Krishna would love you, because you just don't think he would. And just accept that he does. And so this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. Like, it's a glorification, but it's also a plea. It's also a statement. Well, this is why you've come here. Hey, I've got my hand up. I'm ready. Can you take me? Of course, you have to be ready. That's another thing. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, the plane to Vaikuntha is leaving from Terminal 1. If you are ready to go, it is a one-way flight, never to return to this world. If you are ready to board the plane, please board now. I'm giving up everything. Yeah, well, are you ready or not? The problem is we're not ready. Is Krishna ready? Yeah, he's been ready forever. Are you ready? That's the question. So, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? And if you're not ready, the process of Krishna consciousness is to get ready. Now, sometimes I've suggested this meditation, and I will suggest it to you, because I think sometimes we have to get things in perspective, and we are like out of perspective. We get things really out of perspective. So, imagine one fine day, Krishna knocks on your door and says, we have a special offer today. It is a round-trip free ticket to Vaikuntha. You'll be back by, not Vaikuntha, Goloka Vrindavan, and you will be back by this evening in time for dinner. And, we'll have lunch there and breakfast. Do you want to go? And you're like, okay, as long as we're coming back, okay, as long as we're coming back, yeah, I could do that. You tell your husband or wife, honey, I'll be back at 6. Where are you going? Oh, I'm going to, like, Krishna's here is taking me to Goloka Vrindavana. Okay, cool. I'll see you at 6. And so you go there. Now, question number 1. Having gone there, do you really think you'd want to come back here? I don't think so. Right? Question number 2. Do you answer? I don't think so. Do you think you would be in anxiety when Krishna said, we're going back? I think you would be. I don't think you'd want to come back. I'm trying to give some, put things in perspective, right? Now, you spent the whole day, you got the grand tour of Goloka Vrindavan, and I'm on my old internet because for some reason my new internet said I'm sleeping today. Oh, it's connected. Okay, I'm going to switch internet connections. I hope I don't lose you. 1, 2, 3, ta-da! Usually this works. Oh, it's connected. Okay, usually this works. Doesn't always mean it's going to be better. Okay, now we're connected to a supposedly faster one. All right, so doesn't seem to be working faster. I don't know. Sometimes I think Facebook is doesn't like me. I don't know. So now imagine you got the grand tour, Goloka Vrindavan, you got to see all the kunjas where Radha and Krishna play. You got to go out with the cowherd boys, herd the cows, play with Krishna. You got to test out all the rasas. You did it all. You got the grand tour. And then you come back here. It's 6 o'clock. You're back. Do you think your attitude would be a little different? Probably. Do you think you'd be thinking about getting back there ASAP? Probably. Do you think you'd be a little more serious about your sadhana? Probably. I would guess. Wouldn't you guess? My dear internet, why are you so slow? So frustrating. I can't control the internet. Anyway, as long as you can hear me, then we're okay, even though if I'm framing up here, so to speak. So, yeah. So that kind of shift in attitude is helpful. It's helpful to look at things from that perspective. From this perspective, we misunderstand. I don't know if I can go. I have to give up this. Next week I was going here, and I'm going to be doing this next month. And you know what Prabhupada would say? It's like nothing. This is like your eternal home is waiting for you. So that's the way we're supposed to think. Like Krishna's waiting for us. And there's only one problem. And it's not from his side. The problem is with us. So you have a question. Ayush has a question. What to do when somebody is not noticing me while saying about Krishna consciousness? Not sure what you mean. You mean you're doing something Krishna conscious and nobody's noticing? What to do when that happens? Jump up and down in ecstasy. I'm so happy nobody's noticing me. That's Krishna consciousness. And if you're thinking, oh, I'm doing all this service, nobody's noticing me, go in the corner and bang your head against the wall and say, I'm so fallen. And start crying. Say, look at me, I just want to be noticed for my service. And just lay on the ground crying, I'm so fallen, I'm so bad. Krishna, help me. That's what to do. If that's what you're asking, I don't know if that's what you're asking, but that's a answer to a question. I don't know if it's your question, but it is an answer to a question. What to do when no one notices? Jump up and down in ecstasy. Yeah, right. If you're only inspired when people notice, that's not a good sign. Take note of it. The work is to be done. We still have some ways to go. Right. Okay, let's read the next verse, the 8th verse. Let's see what it says. Gopinath ami ki doshe doshi ashura shakala pailo chodon vinod takilo boshi. Gopinath ami. Who knows what ami means in Bengali? Ami means I. Ki dose doshi. Am contaminated with how many sins? In other words, like, how many sins? How many sins have affected me? Asura sakala. All the demons, pailo charana, have attained your lotus feet. Vinod, but this Bhakti Vinod, Takila Bose, has remained in worldly existence. So this is beautiful. Get your tissues out before I read the translation. O Gopinath, although all the demons you killed attained your lotus feet, this Bhaktivinoda Thakur is so sinful that he has remained in worldly existence. So this is the ultimate paradox of material life, and Krishna knows we're in this paradox. Prabhupada knows we're in this paradox. I was just reading last night or yesterday. Lord Brahma created self-deception. So the artist Jadharani said, what is self-deception? And Prabhupada says, when you know you should do something and you don't do it, and you're deceiving yourself, or you're really, Prabhupada used the word self-deception also like self-harm. You're harming yourself. So this is, here, what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is talking about is an example of self-deception. Yes. Like, look at, like, this is, like, I'm so unfortunate. Like, I know what to do. And by now, even the demons have gone back to Godhead that you killed. And I'm still here. Like, woe is me. Like, this is, like, what's, just my great misfortune. But as we know, the great misfortune is what? What's the great misfortune? I'm still here. After all these years, I'm still hanging on. Or as we say, I'm hanging in there. How you doing, Prabhu? I'm hanging in there in material life. I'm still hanging in. Hanging in means I'm still trying to make it work. That's the problem. So, we look at our existence and we're still hanging in there. And that means we're looking at ourselves and saying, what is wrong with you? You're still here. All the demons have gone back to Godhead, and you're still here, hanging around. Like, what is wrong with you? Together. Why don't you get your act together? That's the colloquial way of expressing what he's saying. So it's a kind of, it's a lamentation. It's a spiritual lamentation. Like just see my misfortune. I'm still here. And so you might think, well, that's depressing. Not really. If you look at it. Okay, I'm going to make you depressed right now, but I think this will cause you to become inspired. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're all still here. And we're still trying to be happy here. That is called stupid. Now, it's double stupid because Krishna already told us it's stupid. So, it's stupid because you kind of realize it doesn't work. But then when you read Bhagavad Gita, you get certification that it doesn't work. So that makes us double stupid. So it's a kind of lamentation. I'm double stupid. I already know it from experience. Krishna's told me. Still, I'm hanging in there, giving it another try. Well, let's just try it a little more, right? Now, of course, we are conditioned souls. So, we want to be married, have a nice place to live, have children. We're not talking about that. We're just talking about not taking, because we have conditioning. We can't avoid that. But not taking spiritual life as seriously as we would like to, as we know we should. That's the problem. So, if I lament about it, if I become morose about it and do it in the right way, it will inspire me to become more Krishna conscious, because I'll think, okay, I've done this for like millions of lifetimes. Like, when am I going to stop doing it? It's like, it doesn't work. And I'm still trying to work something that doesn't work. So I have to ask myself, so when am I going to stop? And the answer should be yesterday. But if you lament enough and you think about it enough, you become sad about it, like, this is horrible, this is a horrible situation, you can get lots of inspiration and lots of strength by thinking like this. It's a fact. Just think about it. I'm doing something that's not good for me. How long am I going to do it? When am I going to stop? How is it affecting me? How do I feel about it? What is my future if I don't give this up? As you think like this, you start to feel some disgust for that thing you're doing, and it can motivate you. Or you feel disgust in your own heart that you're doing it, and it can motivate you. So that's the idea. That's what we get from this verse. Like, okay, you want me back. Even people like who are not devotees, they went back. I'm still here. That's like, what is wrong with me? Okay, everyone after class, go in front of the mirror and ask this question to yourself. What is wrong with me? Of course, you'll probably have to stay in front of the mirror for about 10 years to recite the answer, but it does have power. Hare Krishna. All right, today I've become maybe too much of a comedian today, I don't know. Gurmaharaj, you have been really fired up since Vyas Puja celebration. All your classes are amazing, but this week, every class is just something fantastic. Yeah. I don't know, maybe, yeah. Well, yeah, it's, when we have Vyas, that Vyas, everybody was appreciating the Vyas Puja because that was just really done well and everyone was inspired. I was also inspired. But my inspiration was a little different because when you tell me that I'm inspiring you, then I think, oh, okay, so then what I'm doing is I should keep doing it. What I'm doing is doing the right thing. It's working. So that's inspiring. And the other thing is that it tells me that you are somewhat dependent on my inspiration, so I have to live up to all the praise you gave me. And but I was also inspired by the fact that it was so well organized. That's probably what inspired me the most. That makes me feel like, oh, we will go forward as a group better because we're more organized. Yeah. So yeah, okay. So I think we have, just to summarize so far before we go into the part 2 of Gopinath, we have said today that you have no reason to believe Krishna doesn't love you, even if your mother doesn't love you. There's still no reason to believe Krishna doesn't love you, and that He's waiting for us, so there's no problem on His side. Everything is good on His side. It's all ready to go. He's just waiting for us. That's all. That's the situation. So, and if we are somewhat frustrated about the fact that we're not doing everything we know we should do, that frustration, if you take it in the right way, that frustration can really inspire you. Like, okay, like, how long am I going to do this? That's another question. Okay, the next question for today is, how long are you going to stay in Maya? What, you got it written on your calendar, like next Thursday at 3 p.m. I'm getting out of Maya. Yeah, let's just need one more week of Maya before I just throw in the towel and go, that's it. No more Maya. Am I going to do it? Don't do it Thursday at 3. It's inauspicious. Do it Wednesday at 3 is better. So, that's the kind of mood, like, okay, I haven't done it in so long, so when am I going to do it? And, this is very painful to not do what Krishna wants me to do. So when will I do it? So you can allow that pain to push you forward. That's the point. Okay, so Nadia, you have part 2. I sent it to you. We can start with verse 1, part 2. If you don't have it, I'll send it. Can't remember if I sent it, or you can find it. So this comes in 3 parts. This is part 2, text 1. Gopinath Guchao Shangsha Jala Avidya Jatana Aro Nahi Shahi Janama Marana Mala. Guchao means please remove samsara jvala, the torment of worldly existence. Avidya jatana, the pain of ignorance. Aro nahi shahe, I can no longer tolerate. Janama marane, of birth and death. Mala, the repeated succession. Think you could understand from the word meanings, but we'll read the translation. Oh, Gopinath, please remove the torment of worldly existence. I can no longer tolerate the pain of ignorance and the cycle of repeated births and deaths. So, it's similar to what we were speaking before. Like, I'm in pain, I'm suffering due to my own ignorance, due to my own actions. And it's again, you can see here, the mood is like helpless. Like, Krishna, can you stop me from doing what I'm doing? Can you stop me from torturing myself? Like this is like really painful. Can you help me stop hurting myself? I'm in the cycle of birth and death. It's painful. And here I am. I'm still here, hanging around. And it's just tormenting me. I don't know if I can tolerate this. So when he says, can you remove the torment of worldly existence, it's basically, can you make me Krishna conscious and get me out of here? That's what it means. So, you could say all these prayers if you just strip them down. It's just saying, Krishna, can you help me become Krishna conscious? So, now, if you look at these prayers, you might say, well, it looks like he's not doing anything. He's just saying, I'm a mess, and can you do something about it? That's what it sounds like, right? Like, I can't do anything about it. You ever met a person who's like a mess, and they say, I can't do anything about it? And you think, that's not true. You could do something. No, I can't do anything. And you think, well, how are you going to get better if you don't do anything? So you could read these prayers this way. But we have to know, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing these prayers, and he's expressing his mood, but it's not that he's not doing anything to purify himself. But this is the humble mood of a devotee that, what can I do? I'm useless, I'm helpless. But he's not acting like a useless, helpless person. It's a feeling, but just like if we feel useless and helpless, we act uselessly and helplessly. If he feels useless and helpless, he doesn't act uselessly and helplessly. So it's, we can't mistake this for ordinary emotion. You say, Prabhu, it's helpless. So what do? You sometimes you minimize your sadhana because you feel it's helpless. But the pure devotee, when he feels helpless, he doesn't do that. So, again, you don't want to see this from a material perspective, because it does sound quite hopeless. And it does sound like he's not doing anything, but that's not true. Right? Okay, we'll go to verse 2. Unless you have something to say about it. Okay. Gopinath amito kamera dasa. Vishaya bhashana jagitche hridoye. Padiche karama pasha. Gopinath, I, am certainly kamera dasa, a servant of lust. What's your name? Kamera dasa. Can you imagine getting a name like that? I hope you don't get a name like that. Vishaya Vashana, worldly desires. Jagiche, Hridoya, are awakening in my heart. Pandiche is tightening Karama Pants, the noose of fruitive work. Okay, translation. O Gopinath, I am a confirmed servant of lust. Worldly desires are awakening in my heart, and thus the noose of fruitive work is beginning to tighten. So what's going on here? He's continuing the theme. He's continuing the theme of I'm a mercy case. I'm hopeless. And as we discussed before, why is he saying this? Because he's trying to show Krishna, Gopinath, his list of disqualifications. So it's like, I can't. Look at these qualifications. I can't be Krishna conscious with all these disqualifications. Well, only you could make a difference. Only you. So I think we discussed in the first class that when a devotee is praying, this is his mood. This is how you approach prayer. This is why you're praying. So why am I praying? Because I need help. So he's asking for help, and he's stating all the reasons he needs help. So this is his, I confirmed servant of lust. When I read that, I thought that's like Alcoholics Anonymous. My name is so-and-so, and I'm alcoholic, or whatever. I'm a gambleaholic, a sexaholic, a cell phoneaholic, whatever I am. And that's how they introduce themselves, I was told. My name's so-and-so, and I am a alcoholic. So he's thinking, I am a confirmed alcoholic. I am a confirmed servant of lust. Confirmed by what? By my actions. I have so many desires in my heart that I'm bound by those desires, and therefore I'm creating karma, and that karma is keeping me in this world. It's like I'm a hopeless case. This is why I'm coming to you. Generally you don't go to the doctor unless in Chinese medicine when you're healthy. You go when you're sick. They go when they're healthy so they can stay healthy. So this is the idea. It's the same theme. It keeps coming up, but he's just expressing it more deeply. And so, we should learn from this. Do you feel this way? Yes, we all feel it. Do you feel like a servant of lust? Yeah. You feel like desires are pounding in your heart, tightening the noose? Yeah, we feel this way to one degree or another. So when you feel this way, what is the lesson to be learned from this poem? when I feel this way, get on your knees and pray, Krishna. On my own, I can't do this. I am a confirmed servant of lust. Only by your mercy, which I desperately need, can I be saved. That's what we're learning from this song. This is how we should feel. Utterly hopeless, utterly helpless, but in that utter hopelessness and helplessness, we have hope if Krishna will do it, because the first verse, or was the first or second, Krishna, you can do anything, or the sixth, I forget, or the fifth. Krishna, you can do anything. So even though this is my condition, I can become a pure devotee. You can all become pure devotees. Every one of you can become a pure devotee, even though you don't believe it's possible. Because no matter what your condition is, Krishna can do anything. And so because if Krishna can't do anything, this poem it doesn't have any utility, because Krishna can't purify me. But because he can purify me, I can make this poem, right? And so when you're down and down in the depths, you know that song? There's a song, When I'm Down. It's by, what was that group? Simon and Garfunkel. You can call on me. So that's the idea. How does that song go? Like a bridge over troubled water, yeah. I'll be there. So like the world's falling upon you. So you know those days. I guess we could write a new song. You know those days. You know those days when you like look at yourself and you look at your prospect and you're like, this is not looking good. Like, I'm so bad. You know those days, right? It's just like, what's the use? I've been doing this for so many years, and look at me, still a total mess. What's the use? That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying. So he's saying, if you feel that way, don't despair. What you have to do, even more so when you feel that way, is go to Krishna and say, Krishna, look at me. I want you. I want to be Krishna conscious. Please help me. You have to help me. It won't happen if you don't help me. That's the idea. So that's a powerful lesson to learn from this verse. It's like the more discouraged you are in yourself, the more you need to pray to Krishna to help you. The more it's obvious you need it. I'm trying to do everything and still I'm a mess. Krishna, I need you. And Krishna loves this. He loves it when you just say, hey, Govinda. You know that story when Draupadi was calling, Krishna didn't come right away. So she was, she's trying to defend herself. But then she chanted, hey, Govinda, but he still wasn't there. And to make a long story short, at a certain point she was crying, and when she was crying, that's when he came. So, you might say, that's pretty sadistic. He's letting her, suffer like that. And if she doesn't cry, he's not going to come. But what's the lesson? That you have to want it so much that you cry for it, and then Krishna reciprocates. That's the lesson. Right? You are all right again. Yes, that's the lesson. So you get desperate to the point of crying, then Krishna says, okay, that's what I wanted to see. I really wanted to see that. I didn't want to see how qualified you are. I wanted to see how desperate you are. And when you become that desperate, Krishna says, that's what I want to see. Okay, let's get to work. And Krishna rolls up his sleeves, says, okay, we're coming. We're on our way. We're going to help you. And when Krishna starts helping you, you start going, and it's amazing, right? Hari Bol Havi, my obeisances, bridge over troubled waters. Yeah, so this is very similar. Yeah, the words. Oh yeah, we have the words now. Okay, let's see if we can apply this to Guru. When you're down and out, when you're on the street, when evening falls so hard, I will comfort you, I'll take your part. Oh, when darkness comes and pain is all around like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down. Yeah. That's Krishna, that's Guru. When you're down and out, we've been down and out for a few billion lifetimes. When you're on the street of Maya, when you're on Maya's street, which we're always on, when evening falls so hard, we're in darkness, I will comfort you. I will take your part. Basically, Krishna's saying, I'll take your hand. Pain, the pain of our own ignorance. Yeah. Okay. Kamini is amazing. She quotes me, and sometimes when you were doing that earlier last year, I would read it and I would ask her, who said that? And she said, you just said that. It's like, wow, that's amazing. You know, when you become like inspired, Krishna makes you say something that you didn't even realize you said. And I'd read it and I go, oh, that's good. I like that. You have to want it. Okay, this is what I said, everyone. You have to want it so much that you cry for it. And then Krishna reciprocates. You have to become desperate. Yeah, I did just say that. Hare Krishna. That's called loyam. It's a nectar of devotion. You know, it's like, you know, sometimes it seems unfair. It's like, why do I have to want it so much? It's not fair. Why doesn't Krishna just give it to me anyway? Because it's not the way he works. And it's not going to work if he gives it to you. It's only going to work if he gives it to you if you beg for it, because then you'll appreciate it. And that's what he wants to see. So desperado. You have to be the desperado, right? Desperate. That can be the theme song for today, desperado. I cry every day, but I'm still not a pure devotee. Krishna hasn't come. That's not fair. Now, okay, that's a good point, Nadia. Which I would say, you know, Krishna does come. But sometimes we think he doesn't come. But sometimes he comes in the form of not coming. Comes in the form of not coming. So you can see that Krishna didn't come. So some adjustment has to be made. So that's one point. But sometimes he does come, but we don't see him. Right? So we also want to see how he's coming, when he's not coming, how he's coming. Sometimes he comes in the form of not coming, so we can see that he's not coming, so we can develop a stronger desire for him to come and ask why he's not coming and see the reasons he's not coming so that we can become more purified. So in that sense, he did come by not coming, right? I heard this thing yesterday. It wasn't a devotee, but he was saying like every difficult, how did he put it? He put it in a way which, you know, like trying to say that like everything that happens to you, yeah, he said, everything that happens to you is for your growth. And so if some difficulty happens, it's because that was what was necessary for you. And you couldn't have learned the lesson to grow if you didn't have the difficulty. You couldn't have learned it through a good event. You can learn things in so many situations, but you couldn't have learned this particular thing, that you needed this particular event to learn that lesson. So Krishna showed up in that event, which was difficult for you, but it brought you the lesson. So you think he wasn't there when actually he was there, but it just looked like he wasn't there. But he had to do that, or had to create that situation for you so you could learn that lesson, because it was the only way. So he was there, right? Yes or yes? COC, we or we. Da ilidya. Ya or ya? And the answer is yes. So I think the answer or the response to your statement is that often he's there and we don't see him, and so we have to learn how to see him, and that if we learn how to see him, then we become encouraged. I remember sometimes that I would have an attachment which was unhealthy. And if I had this crazy idea in my mind that I should pursue that attachment, when I got close to that attachment, Krishna would slap me in the face. Like, this is what happens when you get close to that. And it was so obvious that Krishna was protecting me from that because I was just being stupid. And I already knew it was going to cause me misery, but I was just being stupid about it. And so Krishna, slapped me before I got close to it. And it was so obvious who was slapping me and why. So that's the idea. We have to see it that way. Who is slapping me? I have a Lord Jagannath here. I'm going to bring him down right in front of the camera. So it looks like I'm looking at you. I'm actually looking at him. Jai Jagannath. Not that I don't like looking at you, but I actually can't look at you because it's Facebook. So I think it's important. Okay, now we can read what I just said. What are we going to do with all these quotes coming in after I send them? We put them on Facebook or something? It might be nice, right? Sometimes Krishna comes in the form. If you can send them to me, maybe I can make a video about them also. And you could send to maybe somebody. Radha Priya puts things up on Facebook. Sometimes Krishna comes in the form of not coming. When we see that he has not come, then know that some adjustment has to be made. And sometimes he does come and we don't see that he has come. Yeah. Which mic am I using? It's called a Shure SM57, but I had a mixer. I had a mixer for it, which is, because if you get this mic, you can't use it unless you have a USB mixer. And so by the time you add up the mic and the mixer, you can get a Shure, what do they call it? They came out with a new one. It would cost the same price. It's a USB Shure. There's a new one. I forgot what they call it. Anyway, you can write me if you want to know. I can find out. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, that's why, in one sense, if you suffer, but you realize that Krishna is doing it for you as a lesson, then you can't suffer because you just think, oh my God, he actually cares about me. He cares about me enough that he would cause me to suffer before I walk off the cliff. Like he'd cause me to bang my toe so I have to sit down and cry and I can't walk anymore because I was about to walk off the cliff. And then when you understand that, then you think, Krishna is so merciful. It's just amazing how merciful he is. So when you see that way, and you see, oh, I know why he did it, because I was going to walk off the cliff, then it's like, thank you, Krishna. That was the best toe bang that I've ever had in my life, because that you did it to me personally. And I'm sure you have all had these experiences multiple times, right? And when you have them, how can you resist not recognizing that Krishna is in your heart, knows what you're thinking, and he loves you enough to prevent you from hanging yourself? It's like you can only appreciate that, right? And if he has to prevent us from hanging ourselves by causing some trouble, we can only be happy that he did it, and then it becomes like an ecstatic experience. Yes? That's the way I see it. Anyway. I'm sure you've had that experience. Okay, so we can read text 3. Gopinath kabe ba jagibo ami kama rupa ari dure teya gibo hridaye spuribe tumi. Kabe ba, and when? Jagibo ami, I will wake up. Kama rupa ari, this enemy of lust. Dure, teyagibo, I will abandon afar. Hridoye, in my heart. Spuribe tumi, you will manifest. Wow! You can understand what that means. Oh, Gopinath, when will I wake up and cast this enemy of lust far away? And when will you manifest yourself in my heart? Oh, Gopinath, when will I wake up and cast this enemy of lust far away? And when will you manifest yourself in my heart? Well, when we cast the lust away, Krishna manifests. So it's what he's saying is, when will I cast it away so you will then manifest in my heart, because you can't manifest till I cast it away. Now, I think this mentality is very common, because sometimes we talk to ourselves like this, or we talk to Krishna like, I'm so stupid. When am I going to stop doing this? When will I give up this desire? When will I fill in the blanks? When will I stop? Fill in the blanks. So here is an important point, because Krishna's in the heart, but he can't manifest because the lust is covering it. What does that mean? Well, what is the price of lust? Not seeing Krishna, that's the price. Not being Krishna conscious, that's the price. Not experiencing your eternal blissful nature, that's the price. That's a pretty big price, don't you think? You think, well, lust is so valuable, it's so enjoyable. No, it's not. It's expensive. Why is it expensive? Because you don't get Krishna. That's why. That's pretty expensive, right? I can get this lust, but what won't I get as a consequence? You won't get Krishna. Oh, okay, I have to think about that. Maybe you should write that on the wall of your house. Maybe you should write it everywhere on the wall of your house. It's because of lust I don't get Krishna. It's because of lust that Krishna is not manifest in my heart. Maybe we should tattoo that on our foreheads. So this is beautiful, because sometimes it's just hard to find the impetus to be Krishna conscious, right? Isn't it? So these kinds of meditations can really inspire us. When I think, okay, it's hard to control myself. It's hard to give up this or give up that. But what am I paying for that? I want to be Krishna conscious, and it's so hard. And I'm doing things which are preventing me from being Krishna conscious. If I just give this lust up, then Krishna will manifest. Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. It's worth it. No matter how hard it is. I have to do it because I want Krishna. That's it. That's where you get your impetus. When I look at my life and I think of some of the things that I do that are very difficult to do, that I've been doing day after day as a devotee, this is why I do it, because I want to be Krishna conscious. And if this is what I have to do to be Krishna conscious, then this is what I have to do. It's just, I can't fight it. It's the process, right? So that's where you get the impetus. If this is the path, and the path has thorns, and I have to walk on that path to get to where I need to go, then I have to walk on the path. I don't want to, but I don't have a choice. So that's the impetus, to be able to do things which are difficult, do things you don't want to do, because you will get the grand prize. You will get to dance with Krishna in Ras Leela, or dance with him as a cowherd boy, whatever your preferred rasa of choice is. You will get that. If that's so, when you look at it that way and say, okay, well, I could dance with Krishna as a gopi, or I could play with Krishna as a cowherd boyfriend, and all I have to do is control my lust. Okay. I think I can do that. I think, yeah, that's a strong impetus, right? Otherwise, we say, I can't do it. It's too difficult. So we could say, if you say I can't do it, it means that the desire to be Krishna conscious needs to be stronger. When that desire becomes stronger, then you start saying, yeah, I can do this. I can do what I have to do to get that. So if we strengthen that desire, it becomes easier to do what we have to do. Does that make sense? I hope so. We have another quote. What is the price of lust? 4 rupees 50. Not seeing Krishna, not being Krishna conscious. What is the price of lust? We don't get Krishna. That's pretty expensive, right? Okay, ladies and gentlemen. As some of you heard, that I started this class late because I was writing something and I transcended time. I lost track of time, and when I looked at my watch, it was 9:38, and I thought it was about 8:45 by my time calculation. So right now, I'm starving. Well, it's an expression. I'll live through it, but I haven't eaten breakfast, and I want to eat something before we go to the japa. So I'm going. I would like to end class here with your permission. And Nadia, can you inform Goramani that I might be a little late? Just start without me, because I need to eat something. So, thank you all for listening. Benefits investors miss out when they choose an alternative. Yeah. It's like cost benefit analysis also, right? What are you paying for it? What are you getting for it? Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to go. Thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. Jai Prabhupada. Gauranga.